Well, I mean, you look at Death Row now. Isn't it owned by a toy company now? Or something?
No,
It's
actually
not
they
owned by
sold. E1 sold it. E1 has been sold. I still, do work for E1.
Okay.
So it's another company that owns E1 now.
Okay.
But now Hasbro doesn't own
right. Okay.
E1 anymore.
So Death Row is basically a legacy brand now.
It's really what they call it. It used to be a word, I don't forgot it. But like Capitol Records used to be, where it just selling old material.
Yeah.
It ain't like they trying to promote or start a new artist. They're not trying to blow anybody up.
Yeah. We actually, I did an interview a while back with the journalist Teray about a situation he had trying to interview Suge Knight. And an artist that we work with actually created an animation of the interview. Have you ever seen it?
No, I didn't see that one.
I'm gonna play it for you real quick.
But Suge, we could talk about Suge. I was really trying to get on at the New Yorker. So I told them, let's do a story on Dick Griffey. For those who don't know, Dick Griffey was a big record label owner from the 70s, early 80s. And he had mentored Suge, but he was suing Suge. So I'm hanging out with Dick for 2-3 weeks. I'm like, let's go see Suge. So I'm like, it'd be so great for the story. Let's go hang out with Suge. And he's finally like, all right, you want to go see Suge? All right, fine. Let's go see Suge. 10, 11 o'clock at night, we go out to Death Row. We go into Suge's office, and Suge's giving us a little tour. Dick leaves, so I start interviewing Suge, and I'm interviewing him about Dick Griffey. We go for about 40 minutes on just the rise of Dick and their relationship and the mentoring, and Dick was big on owning your masters and not having a slave mentality, and he had incepted Suge with that. So, I'm feeling myself, we're vibing, everything is good, and so I'm like, what's up with the lawsuit? And Suge says, what are you talking about? And everything changed. His whole mood changed, the whole room seemed to change, and now he's clearly upset. And I'm like, it's cool. And I grab my tape recorder, and he's like, nah, sit there. And I'm like, oh, what is this about to be? So then he goes to the door. There's only one door out of there. And he calls his man. And he just looks like he's just ready to go beat somebody's ass. And he just kill anybody. I'm like, I am not ready for any of this action. Suge is, saying shit. He won't come in here, talk about lawsuits. And the young thug is like, let me at him. But he was just like, nah, I'm just scaring him. I'm not telling you to go kill him, but So the young thug is waved off. So I go to grab the tape recorder again and walk out, and he goes, where are you going? Sit down. And I'm like, fuck, we're not done. And he goes, rewind the tape to the beginning. And I'm like, oh, fuck, now I'm gonna lose my interview, and I came here for nothing. And then he starts to give me the same interview again. But he's answering the same questions and giving the same answers for 40 minutes in order, which is very, very hard to do. Most people could not do that. And then when we got to the part where I asked him about the lawsuit, he was like, all right, shut the tape recorder off. All right, you got your interview. Get out of here. And I'm like, Dick, let's go. We're out of here. I didn't get hit, and I got the interview.
Great animation.
Yeah, shout out to my man Mike McCraw. He's one of the animators at Bob's Burgers. Okay. He also did the Soulja Boy animation for those who've seen it.
Okay.
Teray is not a guy that usually exaggerates or lies or whatever else. When you see this story laid out, does this sound like something that was happening at Death Row?
Yeah. I mean, Suge memory is like that. Great storyteller. And I always call him an actor. As I say, he'd be acting the way he's really not that person that we always see. He learned from other people. And because he's really a good guy, in my opinion. And so that's why I always call him an actor, because he'd be acting like the tough guy. And so I can see the last part of that animation being true. He was furious with Dick Griffey and DOC for the lawsuit. He was. It hurt him, really, in his mind, because he felt Dre and him were the ones that really created everything. Dick Griffey, what he always told me, would tell him hard stuff. That's how he got his masters from Interscope. Because most people don't know, the Chronic, not D-Cover, not the song D-Cover, 187 on Undercover Cop, but the song Dre Day, I guess it was, the first one, was done without a contract, without a deal with Interscope. So he kind of had them by, he had them in a good position where they needed Snoop for the upcoming album. And he could request whatever he wanted. And Dick Griffey used to always tell him all these crazy things to ask for that he couldn't get when he was rolling Solar Records with Sony. And sure enough, Jimmy and Ted Fields acquiesced and gave it because they knew Doggy Style was going to be a big album. And they had and Suge could have took that album anywhere because they didn't have any paperwork. They had like a one-off with them with the Chronic. And so that's why Interscope pretty much gave him stuff that nobody got in the 90s.
Gotcha.
By owning their own master, especially a black label.
Yeah, Master P did it also.
We're talking about 96,
later.
97.
Yeah, later on, yeah.
And he paid 80%. Well, he paid all his bills and gave up 20%. Where Suge deal was 50-50. You pay for everything. And then we recoup it, and then we get 50%. So that's why Suge was able to have all the high-budget videos, all that unlimited studio time and all that, because he had somebody cutting the check. So which deal is better? A deal where we can spend as much as we want, or, where we can mutually agree upon. You pay everything, you my bank, and then we recoup a lot of it. You will recoup your money back, but then we split everything 50% down the line. Which deal is better? Master P deal was 80-20. He bring everything, pay for everything, and he paid 20% to distribute.
I'm just talking about Master P got to keep his masters as well.
I got you.
Yeah.